I guess this is unknown. I guess I'm Alma-chan to give you guys an inverse review. This is basically the new anime of 2025 season. This anime is called Alma-chan wants to have a family. Wants to have a family. I have to personally want to say this episode was beautiful, was good, was gorgeous. The animation was just absolutely just phenomenal and stuff like that. But I want to talk about some other different things and stuff like based on the cards. The opening song sounds like it wasn't not really one of my favorites or anything like that. It was okay, not really, but it didn't really basically get me off really too much, really that much. It really didn't really satisfy me really all that much. It was okay. I just felt like I felt like it was not really basically wasn't really that good. It really wasn't, but it was okay. But the ending song, I have to say, is beautiful. It's perfect. It sounds such a lovely, soothing tone in such a way. It really actually is. When you're just listening to it, you feel that relaxation, and you're looking at the ending of the ending of the anime. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting emotional listening to that song. I don't know how. I couldn't understand the singing, but I can really just hear the love and the gentleness basically of the song and stuff like that. And it's just like I was blown away by that song. I'm I'm not gonna lie, but it really kind of makes me kind of emotional. I don't know how, why, but it feels so good to listen to that. I gotta look up for that song. I gotta look up for that song. It's beautiful. It's good. It's just really actually is. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is one of the best songs I've ever heard. Basically, in the year 2025 season, it pretty much in all the other animes I have heard in such a long time. I just don't know how. I really want to know who's the singer of the song, but it's just something that really strikes me a peril that just listen to the song. It's very emotional, and you can feel the depths into that song. And I definitely do like it, and I definitely do. And one thing I really loved about the song, it kind of really brings me back into listening to some of the '90s eras of music. It really actually is. It sounds like a simple, it's really good, but it sounds so sympathetic, and it sounds so beautiful, and it sounds so good. And it really does. And it fits the narrative of basically for this anime also as well too, because it has that general soothe of a slice of life basically built in sci-fi and also comedy also as well too. When I'm listening to when I'm still hearing the song in my head, and I'm seeing like different kind of flashbacks into the anime. It's kind of like something like I one person would definitely say, I'm just gonna be honest. It's kind of like I'm listening to something, or basically like watching something from off of Toonami. I haven't had that feeling in a while. I mean, I'm talking about for a long time. It's really actually is and stuff like that. I would highly, basically to be honest with you, I have a very good feeling that the end song of this anime may have a very good possibility, maybe win an award into the future. I definitely do think this anime would be such a very huge impact, really in such a huge way for a lot of people. I definitely do think so. I'm willing the person one to say here, I definitely do think this anime is gonna really hit really, really big. I have a feeling it really will, because what I'm watching based on this anime, seeing the cutesy, the nature and stuff like that, and stuff like that. Even though that basically that Amari is just basically a lolly basically kind of girl, but it doesn't really matter basically to me. But I want the person want to say here is basically that it just shows how much of a cutesy of a nature Amari really actually is. how much that she really adapts to herself to be fond with like these two people that basically created her, and she kind of looks up to them basically like as mama, papa, or mommy, daddy, or father, mother, whatever it is that basically really how she is. I find that very adorable, very cute, very emotional, and really actually is. And when you're seeing and when you're seeing that, it kind of reflects back onto me like my past relationship between my mom and my dad. Like when I was a kid, like helping me put my clothes on, like feeding me the bottle or change my diaper or whatever it is, or stories like that, or getting me my first toy, like my first toy, like Hot Wheels or Transformers or whatever it is, or stuff like that. It really feels really good to go back through that time period, and just to see something from right there is just really just. I don't think this anime is not going to basically generate is basically going to be in such a way that it's going to have fan service. I don't think it's not. I don't think it will or anything like that. I just don't see it really basically happening. I definitely do think that this is a an anime that is going to draw in. I mean, I'm talking about it's going to draw in a lot of people. I have a feeling this is going to be quite a very explosive era. I definitely do think so, and I really definitely do believe that, and I really definitely do. Now, to be honest with you, I don't know if there's going to be any rumors or based on any speculation if there's going to be season two. I have a feeling that maybe down the road there's possibility that it could maybe basically go down for a possibility maybe a season two. That's a very good possibility, but I have a feeling. But I will say this again: I have a very extremely strong feeling that I definitely do think this anime is going to be very popular because I really see the figures. I really see the figures with Amari basis also too because I can see it because if they do have a figure, I really want to get it. I really want to get that figure because I'm just going to be honest with you. I think that she's going to be best girl to basically to me in my opinion for 2025 season. I personally definitely do say this right now. She's definitely is going to be my number one favorite of this year. I like her. She's cute. She's wonderful. She's really how she is. She's so adorable. She knows how to interact with basically other basically with basically I can't really explain how genius this anime really actually is. The voice acting was very good. The dialogue was very good. It was just beautiful. It really was. I didn't know how to explain it. I never seen basically an anime that was just basically from being just an android and building into a relationship that looks up to these two individuals as mama or papa or daddy or mommy or father or mother or whatever it is and stuff like that. Because usually robots don't usually do it. Usually AI artificial intelligence really doesn't basically do it. If I were to base it as Gemini, basically my phone, Gemini would probably would tell me so that I can't understand or process to know those feelings because Gemini would probably say like it would be impossible for me to basically understand it. But even though as for a human face for myself, because I would understand. Because Gemini based on the Google AI would not basically understand. What that means is basically what that means that he would not basically would understand or anything like that because he's built for purposes for a purpose to basically to serve humans. That's what their purposes are basically are there for. Now, if you talk about the movie, basically AI artificial intelligence, based off that, think about David as for example. If you think about for David, David is used for purposes to basically have a mother and a father. To have a mother and father because David is pretty much is very attached to basically to the mother, but he's not really so fond basically when it comes into the father because he's pretty much because one thing I want a person want to say here when a child is basically is so very fond to a mother because it becomes very attached very attached between each other because usually kids do get very attached to a father. Sometimes that really happens for some sons that really doesn't because that's just basically general nature the nature basic of that because a child really definitely does need a mother but sometimes basically like sometimes a child needs a father sometimes they definitely do sometimes they have that hard time basically to have that balance. If they cannot have that balance basically in their life without having a mother or a father, how are they gonna cooperate between each other? How are they gonna basically gonna do that? And if you basically put yourself in a position like if a mother and father were basically arguing basically with each other, that's what's gonna happen. That's gonna put some water reflections based on the child, and that can really get the sense of the child and say like, oh man, mommy, daddy is arguing. Like, what should I do? Should I stop them, or why are they basically doing that? But then, like, sometimes a child would just basically like they would not basically would understand, but they would basically just like see what basically what's going on. Sometimes a child would basically say like, "Oh, mommy, daddy's kissing," and stuff like that, and basically they would basically would understand that and just like maybe I should do that and stuff like that and stuff like that. Sometimes sometimes we're not allowed to say their names, which means is basically that it's it's a no. It's something that we shouldn't say. We shouldn't say, my dad's name is James, and my mom's name is Debbie, and I'm just using as for instance and stuff like that. If I were to basically say their names, that's something I'm not allowed to say because I'm not allowed to say that. But when I get older, I can say that, but I have to address them basically as mother and father. So I think that what basically it means to be basically a staff. I think Amari really has to look at not look at the situation, but basically look at what she bases that she is doing and to look at what she really feels and what she really knows. One thing I found very, very genius the most, which I really definitely do love, and I've never seen an anime ever do this before. This was very beautiful. I definitely do think it was very, very beautiful. I definitely do think this is a very good clarification of what AI artificial intelligence really actually does. If I were to ask my Gemini based on my phone to basic translate to a different language like Japanese or German or Spanish or Mexican or whatever this is, stuff like that, right? So like that, it would translate basically of that. It basically would because that's the build of the engineer, basically of the AI artificial intelligence to basically actually do. But one thing I loved about here is that Amari was helping a guy who's basically who doesn't know Japanese, means that he doesn't really knows anything about Japanese because he came from America because he's English, means that he only talks English because he only knows English language. That's all he knows. What also means is that since that he cannot talk in the tone of the different language to some of the folks based in other different countries, excuse me, Amari has to translate. If you look closely, basically at her, she has these little things on her head, these little things that can translate, and she can process this basis of basis of that, and basically what that really basis does, that basis that she's loading and she's processing the language what she's really actually doing. And one thing I was very surprised that the English of the people that basically doing this anime was just basically ingenious. It was perfect to me, in basically my own opinion. I definitely do think that it was beautiful. It was good. It was damn right so good. I loved it, and I loved it, and I loved it, and I loved it. It was really good. I'm not gonna lie. I have to say this is by far one of the best animals. This is by far one of the very very best first episodes I've ever seen. And I mean, it's such a long time. I've never seen an anime that just has such builds of emotion, reflection, and other different things that you may view yourself, like what it means to have a mother and a father and what it means and stuff like that. Now, one thing I want to personally want to say, I don't want people to really think that I'm bragging basically about this because I have a family that loves me or anything like that. But I know there's some other different families, based some other different kids based out there, probably around the world, probably don't have that love, probably don't have that appreciation from a mom and dad. And sometimes they'll probably say like, hey, I envy you, and I don't understand. I don't understand how come I never had that before in my life. I kind of find that kind of sad, very emotional also as well too. And I would personally would definitely say here is that I'm not to blame for basically for that. Some people probably will blame God for it or something like that, and say like, based off that. And I kind of want a person will say here is basically that there are kids basically around the world that has probably gone through it, and never had that love, never had that. There are probably kids probably living out in the streets, probably without a mom or a dad or anything like that. Have no food, no clothes or anything like that. Have nothing to go by and stuff like that. I kind of find it kind of sad in such a situation. But one thing I would personally want to say here, when you're watching this anime, it can bring a lot of emotions to base to other different people that it can be kind of very extremely emotional for people because this kind of anime may kind of really basically turn them off, may not watching it because they probably will definitely will think like, yeah, I don't like this because I never had that communication with a mom or a dad because I never had that love or acceptance and stuff like that. But I definitely do think it's worth watching. To me, I definitely do think that it really actually is. But I will, the person want to say I don't see basis not the major majority, but some of the majority based on some of the people who may not watch this anime because they probably will think like, you know, I never had that love or appreciate from a mom or a dad. So that may be maybe a turn off based on some individuals, but I definitely do think for majority of major majority of a lot of people will basically watch this and just to see this and stuff like that. But it can be a very emotional state for some individuals that never have a family that really loves them or acceptance or whatever it is and stuff like that. That's what I basically definitely see, and I can really basically definitely see that and stuff like that. But I may not see the other side based off the rainbow, but I will just want to say here, I do feel really bad for individuals of different people that really never really had a mom or a dad. And to be honest with you, it's very, very sad. And I think it really actually is very emotional. It really actually is and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I kind of want to personally want to say here is that I don't want to be rude or anything like that. I don't want people to really brag about saying like, oh, I have the best parents in the world. I have the best mom and dad in the world. Because if you really personally will definitely will say that to somebody, then they'll probably say like, well, they'll probably say like, well, I never had that in my life. I never did. I'm not saying me. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like for anyone. They'll probably say I never had that. So I definitely do think it's very, very important that who you talk to that can lead to basically into situations where they come to the end and where they basically say like, I have no purpose or et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to go further on basically on that. That's what I definitely do think. But like I said, I would generally just be very cautious, be very careful about who you talk to. In my own opinion, that's what I definitely do think. That's what basically feels to me. I mean, feel free to disagree with me or not. And like I said, I would be personally be very, very careful with that. Like I said, I don't see a small majority of people basically watches because of those reasons, but I see a major majority of people that probably going to watch this basically a reflection of their past from being a child and or maybe to having a child to really see that. But when it comes to the other different individuals, they may not watch. They may not want to watch this because they may not be able to understand, and they may not be able to really and say like they never had that appreciation. They may never have that. So it could be different two sides of the different coins. It can really could basically matter whatever people that definitely gonna like it, and then you're gonna have people who are just gonna look at it basically from different perspectives and say like they never had that they never had that love. I kind of want a person wants to say here this is that if you never really had that, I want a person wants to say here is this and personally from the deep of my heart, I don't care how old you are or anything like that, I would love to and I hug you and I will say I love you. And I really, really do. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, and I'm sorry that you did. And that's how I personally definitely feel and stuff like that. I may have had a bad relationship with my dad. It was not the best, but it was something that I want a person want to say here is that I was really fortunate to to have been raised right, to loved and cared for, but I never had that love and care for from my father. I had that love and care for from my mom really a lot, but I don't want people to think I'm bragging. But I want a person to say here is that I'm very, very sorry that you guys, some of you guys had to go through that and stuff like that and stuff. Not having a mom or a dad and stuff like that. I'm very sorry about that. And I really am. I want to say I love you guys, and I really do. And I just want to give you guys a big old hug. I really do. I really mean that. I really, really do. But yeah. Anyways, that's it for this anime review. Emotional anime review. And I have to say, personally, definitely in such a unique way. It's so beautiful. And it's very, very emotional, really, actually. It's such a huge, huge emotional roller coaster. I definitely do think this anime is definitely is going to have. But yeah. But anyways, this is anything else to get. So take care. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe. Please consider subscribing. Please like one, give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. And please leave a comment. So anyways, I love you guys. Take care. Hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you guys later. And remember, you guys, hey, I love you. And I'm there for you guys. And I hope that things get better for you guys in the brighter future for ahead. And I hope for really a lot of brighter things for you guys. So I really do. I really do mean that. I really, really do. Anyways, I love you guys.